Yeah, feeling it, bro. Yeah. Finally, we need to get some girls, some hermaphrodite loving. Nuts.
This is your night. You don't remember any of those. My turn. No, I'm doing it.
Whoa! What the f? Some guy just got shot over there. What?
Up against the edge, and he would duck out, and then I would toss a grenade, it blows up, and then I run right into it. Yeah, like every time, that happened like 6 times. And you know that base, there was that one, oh hey.
Oh. Wait, were you guys talking about Halo 3?
No.
You sure?
No, yeah. No, we're just talking about,
we're just hanging out.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a Ziggy cartoon this morning that was really good.
Alright.
Yeah.
Ziggy's hilarious, dude. I love Ziggy.
Yeah, that's Ziggy's. He's pretty awesome.
You're not gonna freaking believe this. So I just called my friend who works at one of the stores in New York City.
Right.
And it is going down tomorrow.
Yeah.
It is going down Tuesday.
Yeah.
$100 down. And they already know how many PS3s you're getting. New York City, one of the biggest stores in the country. 14! 14 consoles!
Are you serious?
14!
What the hell? So what are we gonna get, like 2?
I don't know, but we're fucked!
Oh, Jesus Christ. Alright. So what do you think? Like 7 a.m., 6 a.m., 5 a.m.?
I don't know. Fuck, dude. This sucks.
I mean, either we're waiting early tomorrow, or we're gonna be waiting a month from now. So we should just do it tomorrow because it's gonna be less now. I mean, it might be 5 o'clock now, but a month from now it's gonna be 5 p.m. like the night before.
I'm telling you right now, if I wait in line tomorrow morning, I don't even get a pre-order.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be pissed.
All right, so I think 5 a.m.
Let's just go.
We get in line.
Right, we'll go.
Yeah,
yeah, that's fine.
I mean, hopefully word doesn't leak out. I mean,
that's
as much.
That's why I didn't want to like putting the office.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. Keep this shit quiet. Yeah. Like, there's gonna be enough people with like 2 goddamn stores in all of San Francisco anyway.
Right, we'll do it tomorrow.
All right.
Yo, Mil, what's up? Yo, you been playing Luminescu?
Yeah, man.
Dude, what's up with that? Is that the new Mondo Grosso track? The one that's like the
crazy
screaming
one?
fucking
Stroll around the world?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Why is that the awesomest song ever?
Because it's so crazy.
Yeah.
They were a little nervous about, you know, whether or not it should be the lead-off track or not. I said you should still put it up front because I think people who hear that will just be like, oh, because the guy sounds like he's singing with a mouthful of broken glass.
For some reason, it was just hard to get excited about a game that seemed like it was going to have the same gameplay mechanics, and every time you heard about it, it was like, oh, they're putting in this Gwen Stefani track and this Hoobastank track, and that sounds contrary to the whole idea of Lumines. Having played it a little bit now, and I know you've played it too, like, the Gwen Stefani, the Hoobastank, the video stuff, like, that's kind of as bad as I thought it would be. Like, it is what I thought it was going to be, and I'm really not that into it.
I don't hate Hollaback Girls as much as like probably a lot of people do, but the music videos don't work as well as the ones where Brainstorm, the original composer for Luminous 1, where he makes the original songs for Luminous, you know, because it alternates between classic songs and the music videos. The music videos just look like MPEGs in the back where you're kind of like, you know, superimposing sounds and blocks on top of everything, so it doesn't mesh as well as the ones where the tracks were designed specifically for Luminous 2.
Yeah,
you know?
like with every move you make, like fits into the soundtrack much better on those tracks.
I cannot watch the video and manage blocks at the same time, you know? I'd have to probably be just somebody watching somebody else playing Luminous in order to enjoy watching the video. Especially like,
and you'd probably have to be like 4 feet away from it to be able to appreciate it anyway.
Especially with something like the Go Team video for Bottle Rocket, where it's just all these crazy quick cuts to stuff.
All the other songs, which are really good, are amazing. Like it does look really awesome. Like I wouldn't have thought that there would be such a graphical leap between Luminous 1 and Luminous 2. Yeah. But when you see the way like the little blocks, like everything is like super animated now.
Animated
like,
and jiggles glowing, and glistens.
Yeah, glistens. Like it looks beautiful.
Yeah. There are some songs that like really work well. You know, I really think that Takagi Masakatsu tracks. Did I get that right?
Yeah, Takagi Masakatsu.
Yeah, I think those really look beautiful because he does that whole moving painting thing. So you know, it's also very challenging because there is so much moving in the background and it looks so beautiful. It's a real challenge to make sure you line up all your stuff right. But the good thing is though is that they've got the skin edit mode where you can pick which songs you want, which videos, like do you want the new Kenichi track or do you want the Tech Riders track? And some of those videos actually even work better than, you know, like the Tech Rider track 4x4. Not only did they do the music, but they also did the videos because one of the guys in Tech Riders is part of Glamoove, the video production team that did like half the background visuals for Luminous 2. And so that one kind of meshes a little bit better, I think, specifically because of the fact that they did both.
Right.
They weren't trying to retrofit visuals to go with a song or something.
Right.
I like a lot of the song lineup though, so when in skin edit mode, I'll put stuff like New Order's Regret. I love that song. You know, I'll put the new Kenichi track. I'll put Heavenly Star in there, which is awesome. When that comes on, I'm just like, oh man, this song is so cool. I'll put in more of the techno-based tracks. I take Hoobastank right the hell out of there.
Yeah. No, and I love this skin edit mode. I wish the first game had that. I love the fact that, like I said, there's 3 difficulty modes. Like
advanced mode doesn't seem that much different to me than I guess beginner mode or intermediate.
I haven't had that much time to play it. I mean, I guess I feel like I have died faster when playing on the advanced mode, but it's not so much of a noticeable difference in difficulty. To me, what's cool about it is that, hey, there's 3 different, like if you want to play challenge mode, now you've got 3 different starting points that you can choose from. Within a few hours, if you played any Luminous 1, like you'll have a good, you know, a good number of skins to choose from and go into skin edit and just play the ones you want.
It's said that I unlocked, and this about 54% of the skins, so it looks like there's still a lot to go.
Yeah.
I think there's like 80-something skins.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So yeah, even if you don't like the music videos, like, you know, the Hoobastanks and whatever, there's still a lot of content.
I wasn't excited about this game. Like, I really loved Luminous 1, but I thought everything I'd heard about Luminous 2 had left more and more of a bad taste in my mouth, you know? But after like sitting and playing with it for a while, like it's just what you said, the variety is totally there.
A lot of the new skins in Luminous 2 you are also in Luminous Live.
Oh, that's awesome.
So Luminous Live isn't just like Luminous 1 rehashed, you know, and remixed in 5.1. It's got a lot of the skins in here. So if you don't have a PSP, and you still want to get your Luminous on, you know, when Luminous Live finally goes live.
Whenever, fuck. I mean, come on.
I'm hoping within the month, but who knows? You know, it's like if MS keeps dicking them around. Gunpei is hot.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I put it in for the first time last night, and you know, I'd seen a few videos of it here and there, and it looks kind of cool. But when you first like start moving your cursor around, and it reminds you of playing Luminous for the first time.
The opening track is like it's majestic because it's just this. You're just kind of soaring into the distance. You feel like you're flying, and then you see these birds come in. You know, and it's just very digital, very simple. But the music by Uskus in the first track is just awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I sucked at Gunpei when I started because I was like,
last night.
I was like, okay, I'm trying to connect these lines. Okay, if I can just get these like crazy angles to connect the line across, you know, that's me for the win. But then I realized that I could kind of like create these big zigzagging shapes around that loop around, and maybe keep one segment out of the complete line so that I don't complete it. And while I'm waiting, I'll connect all these other pieces and make this huge combo by slapping in that last connector.
Yep. I died really fast right off the bat because like I'm like, oh, okay, when the blocks hit the top of the screen, I die, you know?
Right.
Like,
that's why you've got to drop them.
Right. And so then I felt like I was spending the rest of my time, like after that, just moving pieces down to the bottom, you know? But you can tell, even from, you know, the little bit that I played, I was able to tell, like, okay, well, once I can do this with some sort of strategy, like, once I can move these things and I know that I'm building this crazy shape that winds all around, like, it feels really good. And the beautiful thing is, like Luminous, you know, like in Luminous, you can set up an awesome combo and, you know, just get ready to drop that final block in. But then you've got that moment when the line comes across where you can add a few more pieces on and set it up. Gunpei is the same way. It's like you were saying, like you can set up your line, it connects, it lights up, and you're like, fuck yeah. But then you still have a chance to move blocks down and help like add to that combo before it actually like goes away and gives you the points for it. Gunpei is going to be the game. That's going to be the puzzle game that I'm playing. Like I don't want to get too like I have your copy right now. I don't want to get too addicted to it so that
because
like
I want it back.
because you're going to take it back, right?
Both Gunpei and Luminous 2 have been pushed back in Japan until 2007 because of the escalating Nintendo DS sales and declining PSP sales. So the United States is actually getting Gunpei and Luminous 2 first.
Really?
Yeah, and like, I mean, like by a pretty decent margin. Like those games are not coming out until 2007 and they still don't know when. So with Luminous 2, it's the same formula, it's just like a lot more stuff. So if you like that, it's like the comfort food of puzzle games. But if you want something that's like really deep strategically, I mean, I didn't realize how good Gunpei was until it clicked, and once it did, it was like, wow.
Anyway. I'll give you back Gunpei in a little while, but I still got to play a little more and take some footage.
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
Make it today though.
Okay.
Damn, I'm gonna have to get out of here. I'm about to take smoke.
Again?
I faked it the first time.
He always fakes it.
I do.
That's okay, we do too.
Dude, have you heard?
Oh, PS3?
Yeah, dude, the pre-orders are starting tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Yeah, I'm gonna get up at like fucking 5 o'clock, I guess, to go wait in line with a Union Square store with like every other schmo.
Oh, you're gonna go there?
Yeah, I mean, are you going to Stonestown or Union Square?
But I'm thinking at like 9:30, 9:45, I'll stroll over to my EB and see what it looks
Your
like.
EB?
Yeah.
What's your EB? Dude, there's two. There's Stonestown, there's Union Square. There's a third?
Yeah, there's a There's a store in the Mission. It's like the ghetto, man. No one's gonna have $600 to buy a PS3 there.
Dude, I didn't even know
Hey,
there
shut
was
up, dude.
I didn't even know there was a store.
I need the
down
whole
there.
staff showing up at my fucking EB tomorrow. It's right down the street from my house. It's my little secret. You can come, but no one else can come.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll meet you guys there.
All right.
Fucking A.
You're from the streets. This is where you grew up. I took you back to where you grew up so we could talk about Battlefield 2142. We never play Battlefield anymore.
That's all you're doing, man? Playing the console one or what?
I did for a while. I want something new. I want to play this like, I want to play it in the future, 100 years after 1942.
Want to be that far in the future? 200 years, you mean?
Whatever, man. I just want to play it in the future.
Basically an excuse to make another version of Battlefield, right?
Yeah.
And so it's 2142 now, and it's in the dawn of a new ice age. Basically, the surviving nations of the Earth are fighting for this equatorial band of arable land, and so they bring mechs and the new vehicles out to do combat there. It boils down to what you're used to, what defines the Battlefield series.
Yeah.
One army versus another. It can be 32 players versus 32. In the case of the new Titan mode, it's 24 players versus 24 players, and you can use vehicles, infantry. The average game goes back and forth between being on foot and being in vehicle. And I don't know. It's in my experience, none of the vehicles in this game are especially satisfying. In part because there's always this snob mentality of flyboys, because most people
should be difficult. The air vehicle should be challenging to fly.
Right. And what happens is, as you continue to play this game, and Battlefield's been a game that you play for a long time. You don't just play it for a couple days and then that's that. Most people that play it play regularly, and they want it to keep giving to them, and that's one of the ways it's always done so, is by having that level of complexity to the vehicles so that you can find all these different techniques and strategies. And here, say the air vehicles, they have this really spongy autopilot feel to them. They're really easy to fly, and they're really easy to fight with, to the extent that they have sort of like tracking missiles that not only you don't have to wait for a missile lock, you just fire them and then they'll seek the the opponent as long as it's generally in the center of the screen. And while that might seem familiar to like the console versions or something, it's not so satisfying if you've been playing the PC versions for a while, because like I said, you are used to being able to, if you get great results, you want to have to put great effort into it to get them. And it's just, a lot of the vehicles are that way. The hover tank, it's just, it feels like, well, why do I have this? It can't even cross a river, so why is it hover? And to traverse the turret on it, you've got to go into alt fire mode to stop your movement and then do stuff with that. I do have to say, a lot of people, looking at reactions to the demo now, I've seen some favorable stuff. Some people are saying that it's by far the best entry in the Battlefield series to date. Some are saying, it's perfectly balanced and this and that. Right. But I don't even want, at this point, having played every Battlefield game to date, to even comment on the balance and to declare, hey, this is working out at this point, before the game's even released, is just insane to me, because it's way too early for me to say those sorts of things. You'll see something and you'll want to try to reproduce it and say, was that just a happy accident, or did that work so well because they had already been injured? Or is it just the case that this gun is better than that gun that they have, or whatever? I think the big bummer for me is that, we just kind of dismissed the storyline behind it, but I think that's a key thing, is that when they made this alleged universe, instead of saying, let's make this a universe that's believable, where things make sense, these structures are for this reason or that, and this is a world that's occupied by these people and these species or whatever, for whatever reason. And in this game, it's like, here's just a purple box, or here's a green box, and here's some brown ground, and it's pretty arbitrary. I'm not sold on the vision of it.
Right.
And the vehicle design is like, I don't know, I liken it to if you took the average of every generic sci-fi thing and just like put them together, you know, added them up, divided them by however many you put in there and come up with the average, and that's what you get. You get a Jeep that looks just like a box. You know, the aircraft look like slightly reminiscent of the dropships and Aliens and stuff like that, but like with half the spirit, and plus this is however many years later now, and that stuff's old hat.
Right.
And it just, you don't look at anything and say, damn, that is cool, you know, I want to go see what this thing's about.
It's kind of what you expect.
Right, or like the mechs, like someone taped some boxes together and put some paper towel tubes on underneath it here and there.
I want to get back to these mechs though, because I'm not sold on like.
So
why?
One of the big things about this game is that it's got mechs. Everyone wants mechs, right? And everyone was really, you know, well, I don't know if people were excited about it, but it was supposed to be exciting. And then when you actually play the thing, it's what I think someone who's, you know, slightly interested in actual combat would say is like, well, this thing's absurd. It's ridiculous.
Передаем данные станины.
Точка захвачена.
The mech is supposed to be the big god machine. It's like getting the plasma sword in Halo or something, except it's not really an application. You got a tank of the trip, basically. It's not necessarily any more effective than the other vehicles. And on the downside, it's so slow, it's hard to turn.
Well, in their defense, we have no idea what mechs will be like in 100 years. They could look like that, so.
That's true. But there's some out there now on YouTube, and they look pretty much like that. Shoots tennis balls. Because this game is based on the Battlefield 2 engine, in the sense that a lot of people are saying it's a mod. It looks like a mod. It has the vibe of a mod. I mean, but of a very well-made one.
Right.
But that sometimes like translates into a poorly made retail product because the expectations are different.
Yeah.
You say, hey, look at the gumption of these guys in their off hours putting this together, as opposed to these guys had how many $million to make this cardboard, you know, like cardboard and paper towel tube robot. But they have learned in other ways, though. I mean, the game, it loads quickly. It's running, you know, relatively well. It runs really well in some systems. Whereas Battlefield 2 got a lot of grief for being slow to load. The browser, finding games and joining games and friends was really sloppy, and now that stuff's cleaned up. And maybe if this was your first experience with the Battlefield game on PC, you come in and everything that's made that series great is going to be new to you, and you're going to find it in some version in this game too. And you'll probably really say, hey, this is a great experience. But I mean, if you're still playing Battlefield 2, and this game doesn't look noticeably better, I mean, some explosions are more impressive looking and stuff. But I think, again, the design is less impressive to me because it's just these buildings and these crates and everything are just completely generic.
This was really my first time playing single player. I hadn't played too much single player, and I think you might have had a similar experience. I thought it might have just been too long since I'd played Splinter Cell, but the first level, like, I got killed like 20 times or something like that.
Lambert, you see that? There is no way we can go in through the front.
There's got to be a way through the roof via the ventilation system. John, I have a special mission for you.
Roger that.
You have to disable the ventilation system by the main entrance to let Fisher infiltrate the plant.
Roger that.
The attitude of this game is we're going to make it more accessible, right? Like we saw in multiplayer, they want to make it easier for the average player to get into it. And I'm like, man, is it me? Am I getting old, or like am I sick or something like that? Because I was having a tough time with the first level.
I think the enemies they're better shots and you die quicker. Like before in Splinter Cell, like if somebody saw you and you just you turned it into an action game, you're like, all right, fine, pull out the gun and just start shooting, and you could live that way. It wasn't that much of a problem. But in this game so far, like any time that's happened, probably half the times, maybe more than half the times, I just wound up dead.
they want you to be more stealthy, because even like the way I used to play Splinter Cell is I want to take out everybody, because it just makes it easier. You know, it's easier for me, instead of sneaking around this guy, I'm just going to sneak up behind him, kill him or knock him out, move the body away. And in this game, I noticed, especially on the first level, like they'll turn around, like they hear you sneaking up on them, so they'll turn around and fuck you up.
Thank God for that right trigger, just like grab a knife. Like, I use that a ton.
Left trigger, you don't have to kill him. So I have a theory that the first level was tacked on at the end of the game. Because if you look at the second level, which is in prison, it's totally accessible. Anyone who hasn't played Splinter Cell can play it and just like understand what's going on. There's a tutorial after that level. It's not like a real tutorial, but it's like kind of a tutorial. I think it's called a tutorial, and it's like they put you into a training session in the terrorist headquarters.
Yeah.
So then, but then if you look at the first level, they talk about how it's kind of to ease in players who played Chaos Theory. But for me, if I was just like had never played Splinter Cell, it seems like a prison level would be way easier to start at.
Leave the body here and proceed as planned. Evacuation in 50.
I was really impressed by the first level, even though I was getting killed like 20 times, because it throws you right into it, and you really feels like a spy thing. Like, things happen in the background in real time. You know, I don't want to ruin anything, but you know what I'm talking about. There's like a missile launch going on. It just totally felt like the opening of a James Bond movie to me.
It was a little bit weird how open-ended it was, because I felt like, all right, in the first level, we're going to treat you like a spy. We're not going to handhold you. A little bit into the first level, they said you got to get into the base through the vent. And I'm looking at this massive structure with like girders and stairways, and I'm like, what vent are they talking about? Like, I had to kind of look around and explore a little bit.
Yeah, although from what I noticed, there is only one like real way to go. Like, it may take you a little longer to figure out what that is, but there's not like, you know, 4 paths to the vent.
No, that's true. But and that's something on the first level. But I think later in the game, it feels like they wanted to make it more open-ended. Like, so there's the enemy HQ level, which is a whole new thing for Splinter Cell. You're not actually killing people. You're just strolling around this like enemy headquarters, and you have to do these certain things, but it's up to you what order to do them in.
Welcome back, Washington. Who's your little prison friend?
This is Sam Fisher. He helped bust me out. He's gonna be just fine.
All right, Fisher. Just don't screw up. You and I won't have any problems. You got it?
Got it.
Follow me, Sam.
You don't know exactly where the stuff that you have to do is, and then the tanker level is kind of like, first you have to get to this tanker, which is more standard Splinter Cell, but once you're there, it's like, kill everybody on this tanker, and there's like tons of different ways to go, and there's even a few different ways to take out bunches of the guys. It definitely feels to me like they wanted to like incorporate more freedom into this game and actually like switch it up.
When you find a way to go, it feels like you're going the right way. So even though there are multiple ways to go, it's not, you know, maybe I can try it this way and I'll fall through this crack and just happen to get there. It's like, you can tell there was a plan, you know, you can go this way.
When you come up under the ice, and it's like such a weird specific way of killing guys. You like spike through the ice, break a hole, grab them, pull them down, and like knife them underwater. It just seemed kind of
that animation right there. I haven't yet seen the final box copy. We're getting that soon, but like in every version of the game I've seen, it's gotten like progressively better, but it's still like probably one of the worst animations in the game.
That's Fletcher.
Like, any individual animation doesn't necessarily look great, but they have a lot of different animations. You know? Like when it doesn't feel really stilted. Like when you're climbing up a pipe and you need to move over to the ledge, like they bothered to animate that transition. like when you look at Metal Gear Solid and some of the like animations from like shooting to crouching to running or something, it looks a little awkward.
I really noticed that in multiplayer. Like some of the animations, I mean, the spies now, you really feel like this like limber, like you're almost like a gymnast, and especially since you don't have a gun, but like the way they climb fence and then flip over it, and also like they're almost like little spiders.
Yeah, that's unquestionably my favorite new feature in multiplayer. Is just how you can move anywhere. Like if you're a spy, you jump off a building. If there's a pipe like 5 feet near you, you'll grab it. You don't have to worry about like lining it up perfectly, like back in previous Splinter Cell games, and like worry about falling if you jump in the wrong way. You can move really quick as a spy.
So the thing that always kind of bothered me is like Chaos Theory multiplayer spies compared to the single player spy compared to Sam Fisher. They have slightly different moves, slightly different animations. The speed is a little different, and now the difference is even greater. I think like if you want someone to play through the single player game, you get used to how this guy moves and how things react and how you can work with the environment. Now we're going to completely change it up for multiplayer. It feels like almost two different games. Like,
yeah.
I really think they should just make it kind of uniform and consistent.
So co-op, I mean, it's basically set up as training missions for the versus mode, but I don't know, the word co-op to me seems a little misleading just because in previous Splinter Cell games and in the current gen games, co-op is actually like the campaign that you can go through, whereas here it's just a way for you to kind of learn the versus mode.
Right.
You're not just extracting things, you're like competing with other players to see who can extract the most.
That's kind of why I liked it, because it's still competitive, but it's not like me trying to kill you. Like, I mean, Shu and me were jumping around and like trying to fall on each other's heads and stuff as spies, but so it was definitely still competitive. You're out to hack the stuff first or get the best score or whatever, but it's not as directly like I'm trying to kill you. It is kind of still the three of you against against the computer.
The only thing that bothers me about it all is the term co-op. The rest of it I think is awesome. People who see the word co-op and think, oh, maybe it'll be like Chaos Theory. It's not.
Yeah. But we were playing against the bots last night, and like, they were really good, and they weren't too good, but they were good. They were using the flashlights, and they were doing, normal human things, but
at times they almost seem too smart.
Well, so we played with two different difficulty levels. Right.
When they're kind of stupid, I found certain places that you could sit, hack a thing from a fair distance, and they just wouldn't find you the entire time.
Right.
But once they were ramped up, it was like I would run towards a thing, and like I couldn't even start hacking without having one of them near me.
Civilian chopper, you're in restricted airspace. Please back off 500 yards.
This place has turned into a war zone. How are we gonna get out of here now?
The single player levels looked a lot better than the multiplayer levels. There's tons of little details in the single player game, even though the levels are pretty big, and there's lots of little like places you don't have to go, but you can go.
You'll be bunking in here, Sam. You don't snore.
I want every game to look like Gears of War now. It's like this new standard, and when it doesn't look like that, like we just saw Halo 3. Halo 3 looks good, but I'm like, man, everything needs to look like Gears of War now. That game looks so good.
Part of the problem with Splinter Cell's graphics is that you look at Splinter Cell 1 and 3, and at that point in time when those games came out, they were basically where Gears of War is now. For it not to be, at the absolute top of its game, which may have been because it got delayed 6 months or whatever. Like if it had come out in March, it probably would be a lot better looking. But I don't know. It feels a little off just because of that.
See this morning. You know what this little item is right here?
You did see me this morning. I stopped by the line, but there were more than 20 people already in line. And they were only getting like 14 units.
You should have gotten up a little earlier if you want to get the golden ticket.
At the PlayStation Store, I'll get my system.
Yeah,
they're getting a lot of systems.
So you got like a special deal with those guys? Like, you preferred Sony PlayStation fan card?
No. But for the PS2 launch, the PSP launch, that's the company store. They get the most units. That's where the real community is going to be. It's going to be like a party. And they're going to get the most units. They're going to get like 500 units there.
Yeah, but you're not sure if you're going to get one.
I'll get one.
Yeah, let's see.
I'll get one. I'm not concerned.
I got it.
I'm going to get one too.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned.
Guys right there, they're so hot. Let's go. We're gonna pay him first. I know, okay. Hold on. Okay. Here's my gorgeous. Right here.
Well, have a good night.
Thanks. Hurry, go.